over your screen is visible INS Vikrant. You must have seen our Prime Minister celebrating the Diwali over the INS Vikrant. And I let you know one of the very famous statement, I would say the maiden speech given by our Prime Minister in the 2014. He said that I want to tell to the whole world that come and make in India. Come and manufacture in India. Go and sell to any part of the world, but come and make in India. We have the talent, discipline, and the skills and the desire to do something. That is the reason at that moment our Prime Minister right onwards 2014 to the moment in 2025 has been showcasing his strength for defense indigenization. This INS Vikrant is a symbolic theory which says and gives a message to the world that indigenization in India has peaked to its level. Although way to go ahead, but now this topic will be not only linked with the INS Vikrant, but we will be discussing two things. The first thing is the very basic features of the INS Vikrant. Why especially? Because the recent INS Vikrant that we have, the indigenous Vikrant, it is 1.5 times bigger compared to the last INS Vikrant that we have, showcasing India's strength for the defense indigenization. And second, how the defense indigenization India has took place in a in a different manner. So without wasting time, let's start with this historical development of this INS Vikrant. It says that it is India's first aircraft carrier 11-1, which was decommissioned in 1997. It played a crucial role in 1961 Goa Liberation Operation and 1971 Indo-Pak War at that moment, earning a lasting place of pride in India's naval history. Right? So it is current INS Vikrant, India's first indigenous aircraft carrier, represents a significant milestone in the country's naval self-reliance and the shipbuilding capacity or capability of India. Right? It launched in August 2013 and has been commenced into the August 2021. Now a little bit aspect with respect to the capabilities of this INS Vikrant. This carrier is 262.5 meters long with 61.5 meters wide, with the displacement of approximately 45,000 tons. Again, need to remember, it is 1.5 times bigger than the earlier one, right? And it is powered by 4 gas turbines that can together generate around 88 megawatts of power. It can achieve a maximum speed of 28 knots. It can accommodate around 1600 to 1700 personnel and contains approximately 2200 compartments. It operates on STOBA system, which is the short takeoff but arrested recovery, which allows aircraft to take off using a sky jump and land with the help of the arrested wires, right? So this is all very important features with respect to this INS Vikrant. Now let's jump to this second part of this very same topic, which is defense indigenization. Now the point is that first of all, what is defense indigenization? In a very lucid manner, that the ahwan हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी का that come and make in India. So that means whatever we are making in India is this defense indigenization. Today we have certain startling data. First we'll talk about them and then afterwards we'll look for the analysis part. So India ranks 4th largest military spender globally at that moment. And recently there is a the report as well that India's Air Force is the 3rd mightiest Air Force in the world, only afterwards USA and Russia. That means our Air Force capability is much more stronger than the China. Second, the budget allocation for the defense sector has grown 2.75 times over the 5 decades. Right? You will witness, I'll show you the chart that have this chart. See, the budgetary allocation to India. This is 6,21,541 crore at this moment. Right? It shows a significant 2.75 times surge in it. One more thing to be understood, that the budgetary allocation is limited with the 3 and the 4 forces, but there is a disparity in the way they are using it. For say 23% will be used for the Indian Army, 23% will be for the Air Force, 15% for the Indian Navy, and 56% will be for the Indian Army, right? Modernization. Third, defense export have surged almost 14x in the past 7 years. There has been data that right onwards 2013, when we have the Indian export around only meager, I would say 680 crore something. Now, this year in 2024-2025, we have reached to the target of 21 point something crore, 21,000 crores, right from the data of 680 crores in 2013. So this 14x jump we have witnessed in this defense export, right? Plus, the ratio of import to export has declined to 3.9. That means the level of reduction in the defense import is being witnessing at this moment. एक और डेटा मैं आप लोगों के साथ में बैठ के रखना चाहता हूं, डेटा कमिंग फ्रॉम द साइड ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इटसेल्फ, दैट ड्यूरिंग 2017 इंडिया, और आई वुड से 2013 to 2017, भारत उस समय पूरी दुनिया का सेकेंड लार्जेस्ट ग्लोबल इंपोर्टर था, दैट कैरीज एन वेटेज ऑफ अराउंड 12% ऑफ द टोटल ग्लोबल इंपोर्ट. बट ऑनवर्ड्स 2017 to 2022, 5 साल का भारत सरकार का डेटा हमको ये बात बोलता है दैट नाउ इट हैज gone down to at least 39%. 39% हमारा जो पूरा इंपोर्ट था वो हमारा लगातार डाउन जा चुका है. दैट मीन्स द डिफेंस इंडियनाइजेशन इज बीइंग वर्किंग वेरी वेल फॉर इंडियाज करंट एक्सचेकर. थर्ड, the fifth one, very important, the defense production has surpassed 1 lakh crore in fiscal year 2-3, reflecting a significant milestone in indigenous manufacturing. Now again, why this data is very important. In 2016, there was a report coming from the side of IDSR, right? And IDSA, they said that the defense manufacturing production capacity in India is at least 4.5 times lesser compared to their counterpart like USA, Russia, France, Germany and China, right? So that was visible in many different cases. We may discuss the cases. For say, I may give you, two example to showcase how it was nearby 4.5% lesser compared to the other counterparts. The first example was the case of Arjun tank. और ये बात जो मैं बोल रहा हूं, ये फ्लैग किया है हमारी कैग की रिपोर्ट में, राइट? कैग gave an idea that Arjun tank was supposed to be, started onwards 1974, right? 1974. But Indian Army perhaps gave another, or I would say a very difficult acceptability parameter to the Arjun tank compared to the parameter and the criteria they gave for the Western counterpart. That means the Indian Army at that moment by itself were trying to focus on major import rather than indigenization. और ये बात मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूं, ये बात कैग बोलता खुद, मतलब भारत सरकार में कैग की रिपोर्ट नहीं ये बात बोली है. So this report is extremely important. Second, we may discuss the case of the LCA Tejas, the light combat vehicle, that the light combat aircraft that we were trying to have. उसको हम लोग शॉर्ट में बोलते हैं the Tejas story. Again, the report of CAG. CAG said that started in 1983. This production started in 1983, and by the 1999, करीबन 17 सालों तक भी there was no project officer governed by the Indian Air Force to the LCA Tejas. The project officer was the one who is representing the importance and the requirement of the Indian Air Forces to the concerned company. That again led to the delay in the further part. Arjun tank or this LCA Tejas, it showcased that India defense indigenization before, I would say 2017, used to take around 30 years to get inducted into the formally in the Air Force and the Army, right? Now the thing is, now at this moment in 2025, the data from the side of the government of India says that the India's defense production has surpassed 1 lakh crore mark. That means all the delays has been minimized. Now the point that comes to our mind is that how the delay has been minimized. Why was the delay in there? So we may discuss this thing in 2 and 3 parameters. The first parameter is very important. First thing is, why do we are focusing a lot on the defense indigenization? So there are 4 and 5 very important parameters. The first and the foremost parameter is the changing geopolitical scenario on India's border may ask or may necessitate the continual augmentation of the defense forces. First thing. Second thing, You have witnessed that the India's export, not India's GDP growth has been expanding over the past, in a decade. That means at the moment the government of India has certain amount of money to spend on the defense, indigenization. Third, meeting the 2025, or I would say the futuristic aircrafts, or not the aircrafts, but the equipments, the military equipments, India has to have maintained, or has to have maintained the newly featured equipments and need to replace the obsolete that he had it earlier. We are witnessing this thing, that India has the target that by 2029 and 2023, we have the target to replace the obsolete MiG-29, MiG-15, 27 by LCA Tejas by 2029-30 fully 100%. मतलब भारत सरकार ये बात आपसे एक मतलब उनका ही पूरा डेटा है. And another part, there has been certain internal security aspect as well. वो भारत सरकार को लगातार बैठ के प्रोपेल करते हैं. And very important thing, the fifth part, you must have been seeing nowadays, that the continuation of the private industries into this defense indigenization or the defense production, I would say, there has been an increasing competition now, and the competition and the rise of the startups, the startup culture that is India, it is again give an impetus that India may focus on the defense indigenization at this moment, right? So these are the 5 current factors that must be in our domain. Another part, little bit of historical aspect you need to understand. Listen, we may drive that before 2017 and after 2017, there has been a significant difference between the two, the defense production aspect. How? Remember, take the case. In 1947, we have around 16 ordnance factories, and there were around 6 and 7 DPSUs, and that was at that moment was sufficient to have a defense indigenization. But something could not take place, right? And that was visible in 1962 when during the Chinese invasion in the high altitude warfare, Indian army were lacking very meager basic clothes like winter clothing, right? Shoes, etc. They do not have those kind of facilities in 1962, and that was not only visible in 1962. In 1971 war as well, the Indian army, Indian forces were fighting against the Pakistan skirmish with obsolete World War II weapons. For say, we can say that Canberra, fighter aircraft was there, Hepter fighter craft was there, and GNX XX fighter craft was there, compared to the Pakistan, which have the modern, for say, Starburst. So this thing was visible during the particular skirmishes, which has always asked the government of India to focus more and more on the defense indigenization, right? And this is the story that after 2017, the situation has gone fully changed. Although in 2001, the government of India came up with the defense procedure system, where they were trying to maintain the procedural aspect more easier, compare, accessible to all the private companies, and to maintain the transparency as well. But still, onward 2017, what the government of India has tried to maintain is that they started with one Raksha portal. In that particular Raksha portal, they are now giving at least this part, that 5823 intellectual property rights. That means the patents has been given, right? The Raksha Gyan portal. This is all for a promotion of the indigenization in India. Another, the government of India has started this innovation of the Defense Excellence IDEX portal. In it, the government of India has been helping the startups who have the target for 1.5 crore to the 10 crores, funding in the defense modernization. Another part, Citizen portal has been there for a smooth flow for the clearance of the portals as well. Apart from that as well, at this moment, around 25% of the R&D budget in India has been saved for the defense modernization. Moreover, 68% of the capital budget for the defense is being used for the defense modernization at this moment. Very recently, under the CDS, a Department of Military Affairs has been created with the mandate that you need to promote the air forces for using indigenous, machinery rather than the foreign one. So all those things have combined into this one single part, which shows that India's story has forecasted, and at this moment, we know the story that onwards 2016, there was a data that 2013 to 2017, that India's investment, sorry, India's investment in terms of import of the, the defense production, the defense equipments, were quite larger than the compared to the China. But onwards 2017, India has surpassed China. How? That means India is using more indigenous products, and not only indigenous products they are using. आपको एक और डेटा जान के बड़ी खुशी होगी that at this moment the defense export of the India has surpassed Chinese export as well. भारत सरकार का डेटा है that in 2025, as I quoted, right from 680 in 2013, now 21,000 crores in 2025. And now, after having this kind of success, the government of India has started thinking, now they have mandated that by 2029 and 2030, we will be selling 50,000 crores worth of defense export. Now the point is, a little bit of aspect that you need to understand is that how these things are working. One very important thing that you need to understand, that there is made in Bihar boots. Hardly a person should know about this thing, but listen to me carefully, that made in Bihar boots at this moment are part of Russian army's gear, highlighting India's high manufacturing standards. Even at this moment, there are countries like USA, Armenia, Russia, France, Germany, who are asking for India's defense equipments, especially LCA Tejas. We have started giving BrahMos to the countries like Philippines. हम लोग अपने ध्रुव को, Ecuador को हम लोग दे रहे हैं. So the part is that at this moment, India export to over more than 100 countries, right? Standardization and the diversification in the export, the export country is being witnessed at this moment. This all the theories says that in the past decade we have increased, or we have witnessed that 30-fold increase in the defense export we have witnessed. This is the defense export and the budgetary allocation that you may witness, that over 2016-17 it was meager 1521 crore. At the moment is 2023, right? The defense export is 2,21,108 crores, right? So this is the data which screams that India's indigenization is working properly in a better manner.